Alcaraz was down 2 sets and 3 match points, but he made a comeback. Here's how he did it. So immediately, when we think of this, this comeback that Alcaraz did, we have to go back to the beginning and where he actually started very aggressively. And I'm sure the coaches told him multiple times as well that he has to play aggressively or else this is not going to work. And he did. Came out very aggressively, you know, played the ball to the sides every single time he got the opportunity here. Really made Sinner run. But the thing about Sinner is you can make him run, but we can't win points. You can't physically make points against Sinner, and I'll show you why in a minute. So here's kind of what I mean by all of this. So you can see Alcaraz is serving right now, okay? He serves it quite well, almost a perfect serve. Sinner returns it quite well, and you know, it's just normal tennis at this point. It's what you expect to see. But as soon as Alcaraz hits a pretty good shot that most people would think would be the end of the point, Sinner actually gets to it, and that's because Sinner's fast and all that. So obviously, that's not where the point ends. Sinner gets it and positions his body in a way to the point where he can actually hit it back cross-court in a perfect manner to the point where it doesn't matter how fast or it doesn't matter if you're the Flash, you can't get to that ball. And again, the same thing. Sinner positions his body in a rotating kind of way to more kind of go to the cross-court. So his shoulder will face the cross-court so he can then hit the ball back to the other side. And he wins, it's winners. He hits winners. That's what Sinner does. He hits about like 100 winners a game. I can't even keep track at this point. Now, how exactly did Sinner even end up winning the first 2 sets if Alcaraz was just the better player in the last 3? Well, I'll show you why here. So you can see Sinner is with it. And Sinner is not the type of player that likes to go into long games. Alright? Alcaraz has more experience with the longer games. Sinner he likes finishing it off quicker than usual, alright? And so Sinner can't really do the 4 or 5 sets, maybe 4, but 5 is just a little too much for him. And Alcaraz really, you could see, just absolutely destroyed him there. So here's Sinner, in the first 2 sets, fully energized, by the way. He always, in his serves, always hits a good serve. I think, in the entire tournament of Roland Garros this year, he's only hit 2 double faults. The entire way around, he's only hit 2 double faults. And that's because he's really good at serves. He practices them. So he hits it really well, and then Alcaraz barely hits it back, obviously, because, I mean, what can you do? And then Sinner, obviously, when it comes to the net, just smacks it down Alcaraz. Oh, looks like I'm gonna come back. No, you're not, Alcaraz, because you cannot catch up to that. It's impossible. Now, net play, I honestly feel like Sinner was the one kind of dominating up at the net, and, yeah, I mean, I'll show you why in a minute. So here comes Sinner, you know, shots played, it's a very good ball. It's very, kind of, not too deep, but it's well placed and has great power on it, which is why Alcaraz can't really hit this back well. So he kind of slices it to the net. Sinner rushes up because, again, he's fast. He can get to these types of balls. Gets it up. And now, at this point, Sinner has 2 options to play here. Or actually, technically 3 if we really think about it. So he could either hit it out. That's one option, which isn't really an option, but, you know, it's possible. And option 2 would be to hit it right here along this side of the service box. And anywhere over here, preferably somewhere over here in his case, would be great. I mean, it would just win the point. You can see he hits it here in this scenario, and Alcaraz is just not fast enough to end up getting to that. But if, let's say, Sinner tried to hit it right here, Alcaraz would have no other choice but to rush here, because, I mean, you can't just stand there, and once it comes here, you know, you just run. Like, that's obviously not going to work. So, he goes the opposite way, then slips, and then at that point it's all over. I mean, just like, why are you even here, Alcaraz? Why? Alright, so that's when Sinner has the advantage up at the net. But what if Alcaraz has the advantage up at the net? Obviously, there were quite a few great points that Alcaraz won, but for most of the point, I also feel like Sinner dictated this one pretty well as well. So Sinner slices, you know, it's not really a good slice, so Alcaraz gets to it. And again, here, Alcaraz again, boop, bop, 2 options, simple. He decides to go right here. Alright, he decides to play right here. And again, Sinner's just so good at reading the game. So, like, he's fast. Like, you can't really do this to him. You have to be so good at placing the balls in order to kind of make him go past you here. And here's Sinner. Again, 2 options right here. He has time. He has time to pretty much hit it wherever he wants. Now, option 1, again, he can go here. Alcaraz cannot really get to it because he's up at the middle, kind of moved away from this area, and that's kind of what Sinner expected. But there's also the case that he goes cross-court again, which is something that Sinner really does like to do, I'm not gonna lie. And Alcaraz, although, depending on how good the shot is, Alcaraz could get to it, but most of the times it was so good, and again, he's so good at positioning his body placing it well onto the court, and yeah, he's just good at all this in general. So Alcaraz cannot get to it, and then that's just game over for the point right there. And it's at this point in time where you might be thinking, sure, this is cool and all, but how exactly did he save the 3 match points that he had? For the Sinner had? Well, I will tell you how. And this Sinner's mentality, obviously, here, and Alcaraz's are 2 separate things. So, Alcaraz's mentality is just never give up. Sinner, I'm not saying Sinner's is not that, but it's a different form of that. I'll just say that. And, Alcaraz has the really fired up Spanish mentality. So here's Sinner, right, hits the ball, and this was when, before he won the actual game. This is when he had the advantage here. And now this was the point right here. So Sinner had the ball. He's playing it to Alcaraz here, who ends up getting to it eventually, and at this point I don't even really think he cared. I genuinely don't think he really cared, but he played the ball. Sinner didn't really react because he thought he was going out, but it hits right at the line, and he won the game, and from there it was just Alcaraz all the way.